the mic up. This is legacy emotion. For vision of victory, trailblazing the path. Mind sharp, words heavy, every bar got class. Iconic by nature, pioneer by design. History in the making every time she aligns. Doctorate dreams, but the roots run deep. Built from the grind, now the whole world speaks. Culture, purpose, power when she steps in the room. Drop gems so real, make the future zoom. Yeah.
This is iconic pioneers. Hear the story unfold, where the fearless lead and the truth gets told. Every voice legendary, every lesson precise. Often with wisdom, Dr. Tabatha Russell on the mic. Press play. Stay ready. The movement starts now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Iconic Pioneers podcast, the space where disruptors, trailblazers, and bold thinkers gather to rewrite the rules of success. I'm your host, Dr. Tabatha Russell, and on this show, we go deep with those who aren't afraid to lead differently, those who build legacy, impact, and authority that echoes for generations. Now, I just so happen to have the opportunity to have Miss Deb Davis with me here on today, and can I just say that she is super amazing. She's doing some great things in the state of Michigan, Detroit to be exact. They call it the D. So welcome in, Miss Deb. How are you today?
Hi, Dr. Tabatha. I am so great. Thank you so much for having me today. And it is called the D.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Yeah, one of our dear friends just so happened to be from there, and he represents well. Okay, He definitely has been telling us all about it over the years. Now, tell us about what you do there in Detroit. Share with the audience.
Sure. Well, I am a professional headshot photographer. I'm an author. I am a grandmother. I'm a wife of 24 years, and I'm also a life and empowerment coach.
I love it. You are doing some amazing things. Now, she is just not a headshot photographer. She is the headshot photographer for the whole city there and state, might I add, that she's doing so many amazing things, and she's serving people with such a high honor of being a headshot mogul, because she's doing the most when it comes to getting your headshots done by Miss Deb Davis. Now, what does being an iconic leader mean to you personally?
You know what? That is such a great question. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Being an iconic leader means, for me, leading from truth, not just your image, not pretense. I'm willing to go first. So being that first out there to do things, even when it's uncomfortable. I do not build from performance or pressure. I used to live by that motto in the corporate world. I build from alignment. My faith is really important to me. Integrity. So an iconic leader creates space for others to rise without losing themselves. So for me, iconic leadership is not about being seen. It's about helping others finally see themselves.
I love it. Helping others finally see themselves. And I know that you work with a lot of high achieving leaders, and you have, a space that they can come in and be their authentic selves and working through their transparency. So tell us about a defining moment when you realized that you weren't built to follow the in crowd.
Wow. You know what? For me, I would have to use a recent moment, and that was my breast cancer. Being diagnosed with breast cancer was that moment for me. Why? Because that's when everything stopped. I could no longer hide behind productivity, strength or busyness. That was how I lived my life, just always busy. Um, at that moment, I had to sit still because it was as if the world had just stopped. And I believe that that was a moment where God just really wanted to get my attention. Not saying that that's why it happened, but sometimes things happen just so that you can sit down and clearly hear from God. So that season stripped away performance. It showed me who I really was. I realized that I was not built to blend in or to survive quietly, if you know what I mean. I was built to live truthfully and to lead with honesty. And that season did not really break me, it really clarified some things for me.
Wow. Yes. Well, can I just say that you got the message loud and clear because you are doing it today. I see you showing up on social media. You're allowing the Lord to use you greatly. And I know that every leader faces some sort of resistance, right? Where there's some obstacles clearly in your way. And can I
Yes.
just say that the breast cancer and you sharing that with us is definitely one of those things. But
Mhm.
what's another obstacle that almost broke you, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah. Thank you so much. You have such great questions. But I would have to say silence. Silence almost broke me. Being the strong one, being the oldest in my family, carrying everything alone. I overcame it by choosing honesty over image. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I learned that healing did not just come, it doesn't come from pretending, it comes from truth, faith, and community. So the moment that I stopped performing strength, acting like I had it all together. That facade is what people say. For me, that's when real strength showed up. So even though silence almost broke me, silence is heavy. It was heavy. And the truth, how the Bible say, the truth will set you free. The truth, really, being honest and truthful about the things that I was going through and how I was feeling, that truly set me free.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
I will say that silence is one of the things that, of course, we don't talk about, right? But
exactly.
also, a lot of people don't know how to vocalize those feelings, those emotions, that space where they feel like that they're unheard, they're
Yeah,
unseen. And I know that you're giving people that place, that space to be able to occupy where they're taken into consideration for who they are,
yeah,
right? And you allow
exactly.
them to be able to explore and really launch out or spread out in that. So, how do you balance building wealth, influence, and impact without sacrificing your authenticity?
My goodness. um, you know what? One thing that I've always lived by, I don't chase money or influence. Um, I'm in a study right now, and it's all about stewardship. So I steward purpose. I build slowly, prayerfully, and with much alignment. So I say no to opportunities that do not reflect my values, which something just recently came up that I had to turn down because all money ain't good money. um, so even if it looks profitable, for me, authenticity is my filter. Um,
Mm.
if it costs me my peace, my integrity, or my voice, it's way too expensive. So alignment creates sustainability. Compromise does not.
Mm. I agree with you
Yeah.
110%. Like I quite often like to say, you're gonna pay a cost. Are you
Yeah.
gonna pay it on the right side of the field, or you're going to pay it on the other side trying to catch up, right?
Mhm.
Because I do believe that if you do things right, you cut costs and you save yourself so much more than trying to do it by piecemealing it here or there or delaying the process, right?
Mhm.
Fighting against whatever that process is. And so I love how you said that you are working through the cost on that,
Yeah.
because yeah, definitely it allows you to be able to absorb the cost, but
Mhm.
you make it back in dividends on the other side. So I love
Exactly.
it. I love it. But so um another thing that comes to mind though is what's a myth about leadership or success that you believe needs to be dismantled immediately?
Mm.
Because
Mm.
I know that there's a lot of things that we hear. And can I just say that leadership, entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
being your own boss is not for the faint of heart.
No.
So, what is something that needs to be dismantled?
I would say the myth that success requires burnout. The idea that exhaustion equals effectiveness is dangerous. Um, True leadership, it does not require, I mean, true leadership does require clarity, it requires boundaries and rest. I had to learn that the hard way. It requires rest. So true leadership requires clarity, boundary, boundaries, and rest. You do not have to lose yourself to build something meaningful. That was a hard lesson for me. So burnout is not a badge of honor. Some people think if I'm busy, 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 I'm so burnt out that you get a badge of honor for that. No, you don't have to do all that. So that for me is a myth, and
I
it needs to go away immediately.
I agree. I too used to feel like I had to burn the candle on
Mhm.
both ends. I
Oh,
had to do the most. I had to show up everywhere, all of that. But life has a way of showing you how to realign some things in a
yes.
way that it makes sense, right? It makes
Mhm.
sense and sense. And when we do that, it gives you peace about
Oh
it,
my
right?
gosh.
It
Yes.
allows you to really, really go in and sleep good at night, but
Yes,
then also
exactly.
have clear focus and alignment with the things that you're working on.
Mhm.
I know that you have been uber successful in the space of photography. You're now trending successful in the space of coaching and leadership and helping women find their place in their life and in their businesses.
Mhm.
So your success leaves clues, right? Just
Yeah.
based upon your track record. So what are
Mhm.
some of the daily habits or rituals that have been keeping you operating at that iconic level?
I have to go back to rest. Rest, number one. I take daily naps. First of all, I start out with prayer. Prayer is essential. That's my number one. Quiet time. Those are my non-negotiables. And I tell my husband, look, between certain time, I don't do it every day at that same time, but I'm like, if you like, because our bedroom is upstairs, so if you yell upstairs, Deb, and you don't hear me, only do it one time because I'm taking my nap. so so I start my day grounded before I engage in the world, before I'm hearing all the noise. I protect my boundaries. I speak truth to myself. And I regularly check in with my body. I'm teaching the women to make sure you pay attention to your body and your spirit. What is your body saying? What is your spirit saying? Because for so many years, I bypassed all of that. So I no longer glorify overworking. I choose alignment. I choose alignment over urgency. Your urgency don't have to be my urgency. Your emergency don't have to be my emergency. So I lead best when I'm anchored and not rushed.
Mm, yeah, I believe that prioritizing ourselves
Hmm.
allows us to fill our cups, right?
Yes.
And I quite often like to say, don't give out of your cup. give out of that salsa that you have underneath, out of the overflow. So that way you're always full, you're always joyful, you're always grateful, that your bar is always at peak performance. So that way, when you have the opportunity to relate and interact with others, that they're getting the best parts of you, right?
Yes,
Like they're getting a
exactly.
full experience. And
Mhm.
so many of us neglect rest, right? And we're going
Yeah.
and serving with empty cups. Hence the reason why our attitudes are off. We're
Yeah.
stressed out. We're doubtful. We're fearing. We're
Mhm.
doing all the things, like all the emotions come rushing in, because why? We're trying to do it in a depletion state
Yes.
instead of in a state of being full. So you talk a lot about that rest. I quite
Mhm.
often like to say that I used to be a professional napper, right? Like literally, because my people meter would run low at
Yeah.
certain times of the day, and I would have to take a nap to replenish myself. And
Mhm.
so, but it allowed me to be able to know that that was my truth then. Right.
Yeah.
I've since
Yeah.
moved on to something else, and it is definitely helping me, like cutting out caffeine,
Yeah.
making sure that I am putting good in every single day has definitely made a difference. And that's a part of my legacy. So, legacy, I know, is more than wealth. So, what
Yes.
legacy are you intentionally creating for
Creative.
generations to come?
Okay. Legacy, my legacy is freedom. I want my children, my grandchildren, I want women to understand that, like you say, legacy is more than just wealth, it's your freedom. I want women to reclaim their voice, their identity, and their wholeness. Being whole is so important. And if future generations live without shrinking, hiding, or pretending or performing, because I choose truth. That's my legacy. So, legacy is not what I leave behind, it is who I set free for me.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. She said, who she sets free, right?
Hmm.
I know that legacy is not even about us. When
No.
we think about the generations to come, and for you, you've been imparting into other women what this looks like and how they can now get clarity in so many different areas. So, here on the show, we like to talk about leadership, luxury, and legacy.
Yeah.
How do you personally define luxury as a leader? Because I know it's not about the bags and the shoes, the clothes, all
Hmm.
of that. So, where's your luxury as a leader?
Um, there's three words that I really love, and I'm going to have to use these words. So, luxury is peace, it's my time, and it's my alignment. So
Mhm.
luxury is waking up without anxiety, feeling like I got to conquer the world, and making decisions without pressure. I don't like all that pressure. So it's having the freedom to say no. No is a complete sentence, without feeling guilty. You know what I mean? And yes, without being fearful, because sometimes you say yes to things that you know you shaking in your boots. So it's about having that. So luxury is living without pretending. And you keep hearing me talk about that pretending and performance. Why? Because I did so much of that, Dr. Tab, and I'm not going back there. So luxury is living without pretending. You're gonna know exactly where I'm coming from. How they say some people, you may not know where they coming from because they're not shooting from the hip. I'm shooting from the hip now. So you're gonna know exactly who I am and what I stand for.
Come on, come through. Knowing exactly where that is, that definitely helps you to
Yeah.
align yourself in a way that it will move you from, being in the background or having a mask on to the
Yeah,
forefront, right? So
exactly.
people know what they get when they have interactions with you. So I absolutely think that that is super amazing. And it allows you, though, to be or embody that peace in a way that others, they don't have to understand it, right?
Yeah. Right.
They may not always understand it, but they don't have to either.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it allows you, though, to show up in your most authentic self. So,
Yeah.
what's one of the boldest risks that you've taken in your career? Because I know that you had a long, successful
Mm.
history of career, right? And how did
Yeah.
it reshape your trajectory? What's a risk that you took during those years?
Um, I, I have to go back to authenticity. Choosing authenticity over security. I had a lot of security blankets, a lot of things that I felt comfort in. So choosing to be completely real and authentic over security, leaving those familiar areas or those familiar roles that I was so used to, and redefining what success looked like, and building something that reflects who I truly am, not that superficial, you know. I was a lot of things to a lot of people. I was one way in the corporate world, and I get back home, it was almost like I was a totally different person. So that for me, leaving those roles and redefining success and building something that reflected who I who I'm truly am. That decision cost my comfort, but it gave me so much clarity. It gave me so much peace and purpose. So comfort would have kept me small, whereas being authentic and truthful, it expanded my life.
Yeah, I will say that that is beautiful, with the saying that you've got to know, first of all, who you are, the
Yeah.
value that you bring to the table, and how that shows up in the world, right? Because some people take
Mhm.
that on, especially being a leader, they take it on and they want to flex with it, right? They want
Mhm.
to show or say that, I'm the bee's knees and there's nothing better than this. However, there's some that do it with a quiet strength, right?
Yeah.
Where they show up and they actually empower others through the process. And I
Mhm.
know that that is what true leadership looks like, but that
Yeah.
also can come with a bold risk, right? Because sometimes
Yeah.
people don't want to see you fail in certain places.
Mhm.
But of course, I know that that's what you are focusing on, is helping others win
Yeah.
in their spaces. So for those that are listening today
Mhm.
who feel called, but to feel called to leadership, right? But
Mhm.
they're questioning their power. What's your message to them?
Um, my message would be, you are not lacking power. You are disconnected from your voice.
Mm.
Leadership begins with honesty, and you do not need permission to be who you already are. So start telling yourself the truth and embrace who you are. And I promise you, everything changes from there. And one thing I've learned, Dr. Tab, is that, you know what? You cannot heal what you refuse to name. You just can't. I mean, if you don't name it, you're really not. That's a lot of that's a myth. Name it, claim it. That is really the truth. You have to be able to know what it is that you need to be healed from. You got to name it. I learned that.
I am over here like, you are dropping bars today, okay? Because how can you fix something that you don't know what it is, right? So
Exactly.
naming it and learning the triggers behind it is
Hmm.
everything, right? But
Everything.
some of us, we don't feel like that we need that, right? Like, I'm good, right?
That was me before.
Right. I've been
Yeah.
there. I think
Mhm.
I got 1 or 2 brownie patches, right? because, because
Yes.
I've seen where for most of us, we have good intentions and
Yeah.
we do really feel like that, if I continue on this path, I'm going to be, straight, I'm making strides, and that's good enough. But I sometimes feel like that even with our best efforts, it may not always be that way.
Right.
So, with that, thank you so much for sharing that
Mhm.
with us. And, it really does my heart good knowing that you're helping women with your transparency table. Tell us about what you have coming up. What do you have going on in your space?
Actually, I have a mastermind that's coming. Actually, it's tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. It's going to be on Zoom. And then I also have a 6 week, I call it a 6 week experience that's going to start on February 11th.
Awesome. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing both of those. And from what I understand, you do those regularly, so you'll have more
Mhm.
coming up throughout the year as well.
Yes, absolutely. And I also have I have a 7-day challenge that is rotated as well. So, yeah.
Awesome. And finally, how can the audience connect with you?
They can connect with me on Facebook at the transparency table. Your story matters. That's my private Facebook group. Or you can connect with me on my personal Facebook page at Deb Davis, or on my Substack. That's where I do a lot of my writing, my blogs. My Substack is www.empowermentthroughtransparency.com. So that's where I create spaces for women to stop hiding and to start living whole. And my writing community and all of my work live there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has definitely been amazing, Ms. Deb Davis. We'll have to have you back to share some more goodness
Yeah.
about how you're helping women to transform their lives. And thank you all, our audience on today, for tuning in to the Iconic Pioneers podcast, where we don't just build brands, we build blueprints for generations. Remember, icons aren't born, they're built by those bold enough to lead unapologetically. Until next time, keep leading, keep building, and keep breaking every limitation. It's been a pleasure. Take care.
Yeah. This is Iconic Pioneers. Hear the story unfold, where the fearless lead and the truth gets told. Every voice legendary, every lesson precise. Often with wisdom, Dr. Tabatha Russell on the mic. Press play. Stay ready. The movement starts now.